creative minds, welcome back to my channel. I am Queen and this is Jenny's Crown. So today we will learn how to sew a zipper fly, and if you're interested in this, please stay tuned. So to draft our flap, drafting your flap is very simple. So I'm just going to start with a line here. You can draft your zipper flap when drafting your shorts or your trouser, but I'll be drafting mine separately. Okay, so I just mark that line. So from that line, first of all, you're going to measure or put down the length of your crouch. So I'm making use of 8 inches. Yeah, then I'll come out here by 2 inches all the way down. So if you want, you can make use of 1.5 inch for your width of your flap. So I'm making use of 2 inches. I'm going to connect it like this. Make it straight like this. Then on this lower part, create a curve. So that is all for your zipper flap. Just go ahead and cut this out just like this. So for your zipper flap, you're going to cut your zipper flap or your zipper fly, whichever one you know it as. You're going to cut it 2 pieces because you need 2 pieces when attaching it to your short or your trouser or your skirt. So I'm going to label this my zipper fly. So that is all for your zipper fly. So this is what my pocket looks like. I'm gonna have to weave the pocket, the center. I did this for both the back and the front pieces. So the next what we're going to do now is to fix our zipper fly or zipper flap. So I'm going to come down from this waist here by 7.5 inches because I want my zipper flap to at least be within my hip region. You can make it exactly in your hip region. So when I add my 1.5 inch band, I'm going to have 9 inches. Why my hip is 10 inches, so it's just 1 inch above my hip line, and that is because I'm making use of a zip that is 8 inches. Okay, so make sure you measure the length of your zipper fly. Do not add that of your band yet. So just I'm going to mark exactly 7.5 inches. So place your front pieces right side against each other like this and mark where you want your zipper fly to start from. Then go ahead and notch both of them, just a tiny notch. Okay, so now my zipper fly, I have 2 pieces, so I'll be placing them like this, starting from that notch. Place them like this. So we'll head to the sewing machine and stitch this down. Then we'll join our zip as we do that. Okay, so I'm going to explain. Just pay close attention. Then we stitch this down. So now you see my zipper fly is resting on that notch. So I'm going to run a stitch like this. See the way I placed my zipper flap, please. Yours should be like that. So when I stitch all the way to the end or the tip of the skirt, I'm just going to cut my thread. Then I'm going to turn this like this. Now run a stitch. So the rough edges of the stitch should be facing the zipper flap, not the skirt. Then run a stitch very close to that joining line there, so that this zipper flap can lay flat. Then trim this off. So this is what I have, like this. So when you fold it like this, you see how it is. So we're going to fix our zipper now. So now I'm facing the right side of the zipper on the flap, and the zipper line is, the edge of the zipper is resting on the stitching on the line we created when joining the flap to the skirt. So go ahead and stitch. So cut off your thread. When you turn this over, you will notice that the other zipper flap is covering the zipper. So that is why we place the zip the way we did. So now to add the other flap, you can see where the other flap is facing, so it has to be opposite. So they should not be facing the same position or be placed the same position, or so just make sure they are opposite each other. So I'm going to place this zipper. Watch the way I place zipper. I place it at the edge there, not at this beginning, just at the edge here. Make sure they're of the same length. So make adjustment. So I'm going to place the zipper on top of the edge of the flap like this and run a stitch. So you can choose to join your other piece of your skirt before running the stitch. So I just want the flap to be in a place. So now basically what I'm doing here is that the zipper is going to be in between the flap and the skirt. Okay, is going to be in between the zipper and the flap. So I folded 0.5 inch of the skirt and place it on the zipper like this. Make sure you maintain the same length with the top region of the other piece of the skirt. So I'm just going to run a stitch very close. And close my zip back, then just run a stitch. So make sure the notch area of your skirt piece aligns with the other notch area of this other skirt piece. So this is what I have. I'm going to turn this like this. See, this is what we're going to have by the time we're done. You can see how it covered the zipper. So we're going to close this part. See the way I turned this. So make sure that the two notched area align, then just run a stitch. So I'm going to start my stitch like about 0.25 inch away from that notch there. Not exactly at the notch region. Just a little bit, 0.25. Then I'm going to run a stitch straight. I'm joining the two skirt pieces with 1/2 inch because that is the stitching allowance I gave for it. Then I'm just going to stitch all the way to the end. Okay. So let me change my thread. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do now is to remove separate this other zipper flap and just secure it with a pin because we're about to stitch this other side. See what I'm doing here? Please pay close attention. I'm covering this other part of the zipper with this flap. So I'm just going to basically run a stitch. We're trying to attach this to the flap and the skirt. So you're going to stitch like say 1.25 inch away from the point, this starting point here, or the end here. Sorry, or the edge. Then just run it. Make sure you're making adjustments on your zipper flap. So I'm going to cover it like this. So I'm stopping basically that place where we joined the two skirt pieces. That notch area we joined the two skirt pieces. That's where I curved this stitch to. Hope that makes sense. So I'm going to run another stitch. They call this the decorative stitch. So I'm just going to run another stitch following the same way. It's not going to be too far apart, just little. Then curve it again. See the way I'm stitching this. So I'm going to run another stitch following this line because I want a double stitch or double stitches here. So I'm just going to run stitches all the way down to the end of the skirt. So we have to join the zipper fly. I have excess here, so you can choose to go and trim this off, but I'm going to fold mine here. I'm going to fold it like this. Okay, I've not seen anybody do it like this, but as a fashion designer, if you're not creative, then why are you a fashion designer? So I'm just going to fold this here neatly, then run a stitch here. Just a tiny stitch. So that is it for our zipper flap. So whatever you're doing, just make sure your work is neat. Okay, so this is what I have at the back, and this is what I have at the front. So this is a clearer view of what I have. You can see our zipper fly, you can see the inside. That is what your own should be looking like. If it's not looking like this, please redo it.